Working a machine that stamps holes in plastic containers. Like in the pic. Officially was not even old enough to work this job, was 15 myself, and everyone else 18 plus. I would say 25 was the average age. Literally all minorities are white trash. Got screamed at because the piece of shit Pagey built machine kept breaking. The thing was so fast no could actually keep up. Super loud. I did this shit for $2.30 per hour. Makes me so mad I want to go back to that place and burn it to the ground. The only redeeming thing was that we got to drink free beer every Friday and Saturday. Though this beer was always expired. I mixed industrial grade washer fluid for 1 year in big 1000 L cubes. It gave me acne. Also the powder you put it to make it blue is so strong your snot was permanently blue. Even if you wore a face mask it would find a way in there. Also I got paid €1,400 monthly lol. Worked in a boiler room at lowest level. Consistently told by actual employees, dude you work too hard too fast, this is a government job get my refreshing manual labor done in 2 hours. Begged for more shit to do, don't get it. Sit on phone for 5 hours waiting for someone to tell me to do something. Showed up late 2 times and they fired me Lmao fuck that shit I just wanted to work hard. Night shift at the Clorox bottling plant working on a type of assembly line packaging bottles. I can still smell the burning plastic 11 p.m. 7 a.m. Line went so fast someone would always fuck up and stop the line, everyone on meth to try to keep up and stay awake. Did 3 weeks then no call no showed. At the same place I had to put handles into these buckets. It hurt like hell after 4 hours. Also you had to get an unreasonable amount per hour. If you did not reach the target you needed to stay longer and finish it, unpaid. One day the crew leader, or whatever was sick so I had to do it. They kept Excel sheets where you could see how many bucket stacks per hour everyone was able to do. The average was like 15 and the target was set at 20. That was the day I quit. Worked on a chicken farm. It was literally beyond comprehension. The smell. Fuck me dead, the stench of the rotting chickens. The inbred motherfuckers running the joint, B&J, owned different farms about 30 minutes away from each other. They were married to the ex-wives of each other after one of their wives cheated with the other. The leading hand was an ex-con who rode around on a tractor going 15 miles per hour over what would be considered borderline insane speed carting 50k worth of eggs, while high as fuck, oftentimes on mushrooms or methods, screaming at kangaroos who dared to hop across his path. Wiping ancient demented people's asses, changing diapers, washing them with sponges. Construction work that ruined my CNS so now I'm constantly in pain and physically weak. I have nothing to show for it either, I'd have been better off robbing people. Working on a production line in a medium-density fiberboard factory. Die changes on a 3-story tall steam platen press, 400-degree Fahrenheit operating temp, in the summers with no AC, no ventilation, etc. Nearly blacked out from heat exhaustion multiple times. Press caught on fire a few times. 30-foot wall of flame in a few seconds, loud roaring sound. Using a fire hose was pretty cool. Nearly fell off the top of the press a few times. Other fun events working there. Pressure vessel exploded 20 feet away from me. Ripped a hole through 3/8 steel like it was paper. Used to walk right up against a pressure vessel every hour or two to do QC measurements. Guy had his arm ripped off by a conveyor belt, OSHA recordable, that I regularly worked on. Guy drowned in a waste recycling pond a few decades ago. People popping pills and shooting heroin in the bathrooms. Rampant drug alcohol abuse, even while operating heavy machinery. Working in HVAC in Australia. Crawling through domestic roof spaces on a 40°C day to fix duct and find gas leaks. Getting paid $16 per hour. One day I was so dehydrated because of the immense heat and was forced to on top of a factory roof to look at a broken aircon, and in my delirious state I stepped on a skylight on the ROOF, thin piece of plastic designed to let light shine into the factory. As soon as I realized all that stood between me and a 3-story drop, I jumped away and it cracked underneath me. One leg fell through but the rest of my body was able to cling on and I pulled myself back onto the roof. All of this for $16 per hour. Yeah, I work making bespoke medical shoes for hospitals, not the greatest job in the world, but not horrific like some of the Anons here, but a couple guys at work will go to the toilets to play Call of Duty on their phones and then complain their day is dragging. Or they'll do half-arsed work that doesn't pass inspection and gets returned to them because it looks shit and complain about that. Usually my days go stupidly quick, but because of COVID there's not too much work coming in right now, so I just take my time a bit and keep an eye on shitcoins at my bench. Aw man. I had an assembly job where I swear some of my colleagues put an impressive amount of effort into doing as little work as possible. Constant smoke breaks, 15-min toilet breaks multiple times a day, literally standing around the shop floor doing nothing half the time. Looking over their shoulders all the time in case a manager showed up. I genuinely think they would have been less tired if they would have just worked at a steady rate all day like I did. If you have two brain cells to rub together you can always find some work that needs doing. I almost missed that job. I got fairly strong wrestling steel sheets and pallets all day. Pay was poor though. I got paid to clean out a trailer truck full of wet wood bark once. Like I had to scoop it out shovel by shovel. An entire 18-wheeler trailer full. I did it in a day. Couldn't move at all the next day. Guy, not an employee, beats the shit out of his GF employee in the parking lot. Security refuses to hand over security footage unless subpoenaed. Guy beats the shit out of his wife. Goes to work. Gets arrested by state police in front of everyone. Guy gets into a bar fight with my garbage man. Knocks him unconscious and he dies from a brain bleed. Several years in prison. Coworker caught high on drugs. Goes to company-sponsored rehab. Somehow ends up in jail while in rehab. Keeps his job with pay, accident and sickness leave. Gains seniority while in jail. Later returns to work. Immediately wins bid for a higher paying job due to gain seniority. Yeah, it was a good time, keck. I worked as a pest controller and one of my first jobs was to get up early, go to a big warehouse and retrieve 60+ glue boards from beneath the racking, dispatch, kill the mice rats trapped on there, and then reset the glue boards. They would scream loudly and desperately wriggle to escape, but the more they moved, the more of their little body became stuck to the board. I nearly quit that day. I'm a college janitor, but I get my job done in 3 hours before market open and just hide out in an empty office all day with my TV, mini fridge, and ThinkPad. One of these days I'll get caught. Maybe. Not a manual job per se, though I've done plenty. Worst job I ever had was Britfag Dominos as a delivery driver during the most recent World Cup when we had our best performance in decades. Every match day, without fail, 100 fucking orders in the space of like an hour. I don't even live in a city. You'd come in off a hectic delivery and be expected to instantly answer a phone or hop on and help make food in between the 20 seconds you had till next order came out, unless it was already done. This happened non-stop in the middle of summer for at least 7 hours straight, no breaks. I did this for like £7 an hour. I smoked over a pack a day to cope with the stress. Working night shift at temp food factory job over the summer. Show up and wait in line to get assigned a job. Last person in line, all the good jobs are already assigned. Get assigned buckets. Oh fuck. Walk down long hallway to the bucket room. Smells like food that's been sitting in a hot room for days. Enter bucket room. Hundreds of 5-gallon buckets stacked to the ceiling with food caked on from the past few days. Lots of red coloring. Shit, it's from the spicy sauce. Start moving buckets into the sink and washing them. Hot water hitting the leftover spicy sauce in the buckets creates a dense spicy vapor that fills the room. Hard to breathe, coughing, entire face is burning, tears streaming down my face. Spend 8 hours cleaning every bucket. The last manual labor job I ever worked. Walmart distribution center. High production standards causes a lot of people to quit 3 months into the job. No AC during the summer and no heating during the winter. Dust or God knows what fills the air of the whole warehouse from trailers, old boxes, and trash compactors. Pays the most out of all warehouse jobs, tops out at around $23 for hourly workers. I don't recommend working there. I had a job gluing slices of rock to glass slides. After which someone else would grind the rock down really thin so it could be examined with a microscope. Some kind of mining-related analysis. Anyway, it was necessary to get the glue layer really thin, or all the rock would be ground away and the slide would be useless. And no bubbles allowed in the glue. The shitty thing was this: in order to speed up the setting of the epoxy glue, the rocks were heated. And they were so hot you couldn't handle them without pain. But you couldn't wear gloves, because then you wouldn't have the dexterity needed to rub out the excess glue and bubbles with a stylus. So you just had to fucking burn your fingertips all day. That was the only job I have ever been fired from. Because I couldn't get the motherfucking bubbles out of the motherfucking glue. Cart pusher. All we did 40 hours a week. Rain, snow, shine, blazing hot, or blistering cold, it didn't matter. Only time we couldn't push carts was when it was lightning outside, and that was just because they didn't want to be sued if we got hit. We got blamed for everything. Profits down for the day. There weren't enough carts in the building for customers to easily grab. Parking lot a mess. Cart pushers didn't do their job, not that we were understaffed, asked for help and were ignored. Working manual construction framing in Louisiana during the summer's worst pain I've felt was stepping multiple times on upward sticking nails that were left on scrap air or wood. My dad does the same work, and he's had plenty of much more serious accidents. Chopping off and/or hammering fingertips. Getting shot with a nail gun right in the sternum. Stabbed by rogue coworkers and thugs breaking into your apt. Getting robbed all the time cause, if you're poor you have nowhere to put your expensive tools. Some dudes die every now and then. Heat stroke and cramps that don't let you work. Being a pharmacy technician for a mental hospital. Pharmacist was old, depressed and angry, and the on-duty technician was an overweight, snappy, tweaked-out military wife with 2 kids who have bad behavioral issues. All worked in a really cramped space with no AC or heat, and the pharmacist would constantly quiz the technicians on what drugs did, which was fucking annoying, and would throw me off, then would bitch us out for making a mistake. Long hours, and was not paid shit for the work we did. Got some funny stories, though, about how the on-duty tech's son shit his pants then wiped it on another student at this special needs school. Or when the same kid pissed in front of the class screaming nonsense. Been working in the same supermarket since 2009, making €400 to €450 a month. On the holidays I get paid a little extra. Getting old, not as agile as I used to be, have trouble moving larger boxes. Today my boss called me into his office. I've known this guy since 2009, even went to his house a few times to have barbecue. He says he usually doesn't do this, but is going to make an exception because he knows me and I'm a good person. I'm getting fired in June. It's not his decision, and there's nothing he can do. All he can do is warn me in advance so that I can start making preparations for it. I will get €2,000 in severance payment, roughly 9 months worth of rent. I ask him why. Recently, Human Resources has introduced a company policy of not keeping people beyond a certain age in the payroll because they can't work as hard as younger people, they get injured more easily, and then the company has to pay them while they recover. It's wasted money. Plus, they have recently signed a contract with a temp work type agency which contracts workers, usually immigrants, and then makes them work for the supermarket chain. This is safer for the company because subcontracted workers have no link to the supermarket and therefore can't sue them if something goes wrong. Plus, the agency usually operates with 3-month contracts, so when they want to get rid of a worker, they can just choose to not renew his contract, and this saves them money because they don't have to pay severance. Over the next year, the company will fire most of its employees and replace them with subcontracted workers. None of this is his decision. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've been working here for so long. I started working here when I was 21. I was always looking for a better job, but never found any. Most other jobs paid €350. I have no qualifications, and I'm too old for university. I'm thinking of putting the €2,000 into a trading platform like Binance and trying to get lucky. Employer now has to compete with the unemployment office. Tried explaining this to my boss when they laid off the unskilled labor. Tried negotiating a pay raise. Immediately told I could be replaced for less. Explained the people that were laid off were making more the second I put gas in my tank. Complete confusion in their faces. You'll make more working, Anon. Repeated myself, explaining the guys they laid off because they weren't valuable are in fact making more at home without ever leaving the house. With overtime you'll make more, he said. Conversation ended, couldn't get motivated at all that day. End of the day boss man apologized, claiming he had no idea unemployment paid well. Pay bump from $18.50 to $22A, would have rather been laid off. Go through school. Be an ugly loser, girls all laugh at me, don't go to prom. Ignore them, work hard, get good grades. Go to college. Be an ugly loser, girls ignore me, no social life the entire time, people creeped out by me when I try to socialize, and I feel pathetic. Work hard, get good grades. Get a job at large well-known company after failing lots of interviews. Work hard, get all my work done. All coworkers are the same normies that would have ignored or laughed at me before. Get told I need to improve because my communication skills aren't good enough. No longer confident about my promotion prospects. I'm tired, bros. Be metard Wrangler. Tooken a sleep overnight shift, comfy just need to get some people ready in morn. Go to sleep after done some cleaning. Wake up at 2 a.m. to the sound of breathing and nothing else. Walk out of the room I'm in and look around. It is pitch black, can't see shit. Turn on stair light. Like a horror movie one of the residents slowly walks towards the night, heavy breathing and naked. Fat, old and covered in shit, she also is a hugger, and she reaches out for a hug when she is covered in crap. Nearly shit myself how surprised I was. Got her cleaned up and put her back in her bed. Slept rest of night no issue. Be me. Early 20s. Dropped out of trade school and work a shit minimum wage job with an even shittier boss. Constantly think of quitting. Can't shake the feeling that no matter what job I have I will never be happy. Attempt to explain my feelings towards my peers and loved ones. Get confused looks from nearly everyone, my attitude being misinterpreted as lazy and worthless. Realize I am spending the best years of my life slaving away at meaningless tasks. Realize that I am selling my time, body, mental health, and time to rich assholes who pay me a fraction of what I make them in return. Realize that the average citizen will do this for 30 plus fucking years, and it is normalized in our clown world society. I just want to be happy. I feel the exact same way, except I dropped out of college and went into a minimum wage job. After 2 months of working everything feels pointless, the same tasks over and over again, the same stress, same realization that every job will suck. Be me. 23. Never go to high school. Never even finish middle school. Find job at a gas station. Get promoted. Get promoted again. But it's just more work for only an extra $1 an hour raise. Pull a double because coworkers call in sick on the nicest day of the year. What a coincidence. Work 14-hour shift. Bought a handgun today. I'm finally gonna do it, bros. Maybe not as soon as I get the gun, maybe not even the day after, but eventually. Be Wagie. Have to work in the cage at a store in the hood. Work with 300 pounds fat dude that farts every few minutes. It's bad and I'm stuck in a cage with them for hours on end. If I leave the safety of the cage I risk getting robbed by natives. Thankfully I work construction now, and I'm no longer a wage slave. 28. Dropped out of high school. Get GED, marry GF at 21. Work 2/5 years we are together. Spend all my time on G and playing with Linux, writing shitty programs, and C. We break up after 5 years, I have minus 10k, debt. Go to college for CS at 24. Spend the whole time trading stocks instead of studying, learn Python to find trends in stocks. Dropout after 2 years, not meant for school I guess. Continue trading stocks, start applying for jobs using Python. MFW autistically using Python to find stocks has made me better at programming and data science than 90% of college grads. MFW I land in job in the Bay Area making 6 figures with a shit ton of equity. Feels pretty good bros, been doing this for almost 2 years. Was gonna kill myself at 30 if I didn't make it. Be me, also early 20s. Wagicook through high school. Hate every second of it, some other kids are cool, but most coworkers are degenerate adults. Working class parents. Dad loses job during high school. Mom dies. Dad can't help pay for college. Study Comp-Sci. Grind 24/7, feel like I'm missing out on the entire college experience. Get one shitty internship. Then a better one. Full-time job offer right before COVID. Turns into a permanent remote software dev job just like that. About $7K month starting salary. Expenses are about $1,100 month. It gets better Anons, it's fucking hard, but you can make it. Work from home. But it's a call center. It's a call center job. 13 per hour. After a couple years of push pulling, cold calling, customer satisfaction surveys for ISPs, grocery stores, developments, and the very rare but enjoyable media news surveys, now get a chance to move on to talk to people about their health insurance. Few hours of job training recently, stressed the fuck out, but it would allow of non-crazy hours, and it is in cold calling because it's all through and sponsored by the like of Medicare insurance and DHHS. Because it's a call center job, even with work from home you are constantly monitored and breaks are timed, including bathroom breaks. State minimums only. At least I can read and phone post during the gaps of dialing I guess. Make $1 over minimum wage, but that will decrease to just $25 once the state updates in July as my wage stagnates again for another year. Once COVID is over with I hope to get back on track to something livable. I've reached the point of unironically finding God and dumping what I can into SHITCOINS RBC. Let's be honest. Thanks for listening to my blog post, TEDx talk, and diary entry. I have to get up at 4 a.m. to get to the bus stop in time to ride 3 buses to work so I can make hash browns for the breakfast rush. Drive heavy machinery Monday through Friday. Union job, great money. Invest 50% my pay into crypto every month. Will be retiring in 10 years before I'm 35. Feels good. Do just spend 1 to 2 hours a day getting ready for and commuting to work for no pay Lmao. I have to go back to the office after working from home for over a year. How the fuck do I convince my boomer boss to let us keep working from home? What the fuck, I can't go back to making small talk. I'm going to be real with you guys because I don't have friends and I truly hope you all will make it one day. I earn minimum wage in a stupid office job doing graphic design. I fell for the do what you love and you never have to work again. Turns out it's a scam and working in this industry is absolute agony and the wage is below acceptable. I realized this after I graduated but had to take a job right away regardless. I'm currently in my 3rd slave year and have a net worth of close to 400k euros, which is a fuck ton in my country for someone mid-20s. How so? I live like a monk, no car, cheap apartment, no new clothing, no new electronic BS, none of that. Never eat outside. Cook with basics, healthy vegan shit. I save 65% of this terrible income and put it into Ether and some BTC every fucking month. I mean every single month, always, no exceptions. Don't talk about it with anyone in real life, let them think you're a broke dude while you're building up more money that they ever will. Try to endure this slave shit for a while and always look on the bright side, fucking crypto. I think I'll make it in the next 5 to 7 years and I'm okay to slave for that long. The more money you have, the easier the slaving becomes because you know you're getting closer and closer to quitting forever while all your coworkers, including your fucking boss, throws money out the window. Exploit this shit, don't watch television and you can actually escape this hell. Love my easy shift job. 120 to 130k per currently with room to grow. 12-hour shifts and just sit at home doing whatever I want, thanks COVID, unless something comes up or planned maintenance. Hourly, so when I cover shifts or people call on off days I get OT, manager approves all hours. Only work 3/4 days a week. Health bennies for growing family. I have no chance to retire early because tradcath family, so probably gonna have like 10 kids, but my job is already easy and I'm not even a manager yet. Most days are just answering phone calls for easy fixes and checking on machines one time per day. I've had some bad Wagie jobs, but now I'm comfy. Same Anon, I'm finally being called to go back to the office in June. I plan on not engaging in any office bullshit. I'll be arriving slightly late every day, leaving slightly earlier, count my lunch in with my 8 hours, sit in the bathroom minimum 30 minutes, multiple times a day. No small talk, headphones in all the time. Slacking as much as possible. Bare minimum in work and dress code. No fake happy-go-lucky attitude. I refuse to play along with their twisted games. After I graduated, I had a hard time getting a job due to a fucked market for my career field. During that time, all I could think about was how I just wanted a job and to make something of myself finally, instead of being a failure. Then I finally got lucky and got hired. Really good salary too. But I became even more fucking miserable. Even on my days off, I was so tired and fried from work that I just sit there not doing anything at all anyway. I was fucking miserable, and even more so anytime I'd think about how I'm supposed to do this for 40 years straight. And then a year later, I get laid off anyway, due to major cutbacks as a result of the economic devastation of lockdowns over a meme flu. Fuck being a poor fag, and fuck being a wage slave. Thank God I was putting money into crypto during the bear market and went all in after the March 2020 crash. Right now I'm in mid-six-figure hell, and I just want to break $1 million by the end of this bull run. I don't want to go back to the rat race. I had a job that could have burned anyone out. Intense, big penalty for fucking up. Repetitive, etc. Unpleasant work conditions sometimes. Other employees, the lifers, they deal with this like they are ocean sponges. They soak up the stress, build an armor of fat, try and cope eating donuts in the break room. So what I did was I said fuck it, I'm not going to drive to commute. I spent the next several years either walking, busing, or biking the 8 miles depending on the weather. Instead of having to drag myself out of bed 30 minutes before work, I said fuck it. I will wake up 2.5 hours before work every day. I would wake up before dawn and leave on my bike in the freezing cold, wearing as many layers as necessary. I found a coffee shop that opened super early on the way, and I started spending an hour and a half before work started. I spent my free time in the dawn hours reading the entire newspaper. I met new friends, some cool, some very weird. I got my coffee fix, and then I biked the rest of the way to work and arrived, usually, before anyone else. I had energy and I applied myself passionately in the work, not for anyone else's sake, but because it made it better. Sure, I browsed biz at my desk and shitposted, and drank too much coffee in the break room. I tried to get outside on break, to feel the natural sunlight on my face, fresh air. Then after work I bombed through traffic on my bike for 8 miles. I'm not about to meet up with co-workers at the bar, no. I had downloaded podcasts and listened to people who were way smarter than me talk to each other the whole way. When I got home, the routine was automatic. Bag packed, change of clothes, running shoes on. I ran the 1.5 miles from my shitty trailer in the woods to the local unit gym, where I paid for a cheap membership. Then, depending on the day, I spent a maximum of 30 minutes lifting weights 2 or 3 times a week. Then, a couple good sessions in the sauna. It was actually based. Be a security guard, Sempai. I work maybe 10 hours every second weekend, earns me smokes money and keeps me social since I mostly work clubs. Cut back from more demanding security work early last year, since I was making way more in crypto anyway. Now I just work for fun and try to remember a world exists beyond my PC. I'd get super fat and lazy if I just stayed home all the time. TLDR, get a hobby, loser. Fit is really getting to me when the first thing I notice in the op and the only thing I can focus on is those skinny ass wrists and lack of muscle. The real tragedy in that op is that kid ain't lifting and there's no gallon of milk on his counter. Wake up this morning. Sign into VPN. Go back to sleep. Wake up a few hours later. Some emergency happened overnight. Start checking. Oh shit, I should have caught this like multiple times while I was watching anime and sleeping in. Stay calm, sound the alarm hours late. No response. Check CEO's calendar. He took today off. Ah, now it makes sense. Literally everybody is fucking off today and nobody cares. Lol. Gonna have one meeting in a few minutes where I'll pin the blame on someone outside the company and then take off for a 4-hour gym sesh. God, I love work from home. I see other humans from work roughly once a month. They're so much more tolerable when you only see them once a month. Be Canadian. Slow job. Even slower because I injured myself at work in the past and have limitations, so they don't always have jobs for me. Functionally laid off because of meme virus. Every few months or so there's an automated phone call asking for a forklift driver to come in, not me. Get CERB. Get enhanced unemployment when CERB is ended. More money per week than I made at my job. Government extends my unemployment without me even asking. Fucking nice. PNG. Mother keeps insisting I basically beg to go back to work. Every time we talk she keeps randomly asking if work has phoned yet. Keeps asking me to phone them and ask if they have literally any jobs for me to do. Internally cringe every single time. Work phones and asked about returning to work because they might be opening up soon. Remember they put out obnoxious bullshit mask distancing restrictions. Wow, can't wait to work in a hot warehouse in the middle of summer wearing a face mask and face shield inspecting 15 pounds aluminum castings for defects for 8 hours. Tell them I'd rather, not for the time being for multiple reasons, and I'm not in any financial danger. Alright, cool, thanks for being honest. Get in the kegi waggy. Work at call center for 15 per hour. COVID happens. Work from home. Get promotion. Barely do any work at all. If I take a day off, my sup forgets to put me back in the queue to get work, so I do literally nothing until she remembers. Get a raise every year, gonna be 16 per come July. Spend my time playing BSC roulette and spending time with my family. Life is great. I'm actually on the clock right now. Gonna get blitzed for Friday. Wage slave every day for 8 hours. Get home, do chores. Absolutely exhausted, hardly any energy for gym. Pass out watching some bullshit. Rinse repeat. There's more to life than this, right? Wage slave every day for 8 hours in a boring job sitting in front of a computer. Finally done with work. Yet again excited to go to the gym. Fuck yeah, let's go. Blast some good music and work my ass off doing a thing I enjoy. Afterwards feel a bit sad that it's over. But then remember I get to do it again tomorrow. I feel you, dude. I barely have any free time. I also run a company. Wake up at 6 a.m. Leave for work around 6:30 a.m. Get to work at 7 a.m. Work until 5 p.m. Get home at 5:30 p.m., usually later because of traffic. By the time I walk the dog at 6 p.m. Change out of clothes, do my home gym workout until 7:30 p.m. Make my protein shake, drink it, take a shower by 8 p.m. Dry off, groom myself and get dressed by 8:30 p.m. Then by the time I cook and eat my one meal a day it's around 9:30. If I do it quickly I then have a half hour to do fucking chores or a bit of leisure before I lay down in bed at 10 o'clock, usually lay in bed and watch TV until 10:30 to 11 because I need some form of relaxation before I have to wake up again. I had to build a home gym or I literally would have no time to do anything else. Nearly all of my chores along with any relaxation I get happens on the weekend. Usually just Sunday because I work Saturdays as well. Life is suffering. Wake up at the crack of dawn to go do some labor you can't stand. Barely any free time, and little that you get is for groceries, shopping, house, car maintenance and laundry. Maybe 2 weeks off per year to rush somewhere and rush right back. Literally surviving paycheck to paycheck. Yes, Anon, it's terrible and I'm sorry. Yeah. You think I'll just wage slave a little and on the side I can work on my real ambitions. But then you come home and collapse into bed and snooze, then you wake up and head back to work. Yes, especially if you work in service retail. A shit ton of teenage kids, young adults, that are loaded thanks to daddy's money and looking 10x better than you because they never had to work to worry about anything in their lives, coming in and commanding you around. While you hear your hot teenage Stacy coworkers talking about fucking guy number 7261, while you are eating in silence the break room like you are invisible. Then your 8-hour shift ends and you take the train that is also full of teenage kids, college students going to parties, clubbing. You go home to your childhood room trying to study for 10 fucking upcoming university exams while your parents argue in the next room while I am still single and don't have friends to hang out with. This whole humiliation, envy and constant unstable environment due your parents being at home 24/7 and arguing will lead you fail your bachelor degree, which will leave you working in service for 50 plus years. Just fuck my life at this point. Never have kids if you aren't loaded. I work as a CA from home. Have a 3-month-long deadline to finish a project. Spend 5 days no-lifing it and finding all bugs. Let's say I found 100 bugs. Split that number so I can report bugs throughout the project on a daily basis. Get paid to do nothing for the rest of the project. It's remote work plus no high brain activity involved. All that while living in a third world shithole where this pay provides me king status. You really need to take remote plus third world shithole pill. Geez, that sucks. Work retail. Spend all day scanning items and being nice to people. Company workers are mostly college kids and broken boomers, all around decent people. Eat snacks whenever I'm hungry. Half the time I'm not doing anything, so I should post here. Bar is set so low that I can half-ass everything. It isn't nearly as bad as people make it out to be, but it does suck. Quit my job. Moved out to rural Australia. Started my own PC business. No one in the local area knows shit about computers. They're just happy they don't have to travel 150 km plus to get a laptop looked at by a drunk behind a counter. Make double what I used to make. Living costs are half that of the city. Bought a house at 27 for 1/3 the rest of the people in major cities are paying for a 1-bed apartment. Can never go back to being a Wagie. Be me. English teacher in a foreign country. Down bad, earn like $1,000 month. Earn more money than I've ever even had this bull run. Quit my job. Started freelance writing for crypto projects. Now making more money than I've ever earned and working less, 100% remote. Can live anywhere in the world. Never going back to waging. Based. I had a similar situation, but in the opposite direction. Tired of current job, but it's full work from home, which is nice. Lets me spend my day job hunting. Interview for a few jobs. Get offers from 2 of them. One of them in particular is offering me a 25% pay raise. About to take it until I ask, what is your work from home policy after Corona calms down? The boomer shifts in his seat. Well, Anon we'd expect you to come to the office. Not every day, maybe like 4 days a week. Okay. No thanks then. Boomer is absolutely flabbergasted that I would turn down his offer of more money. He blows up my phone telling me I put him and his team in a bad spot by turning it down because they already refused the other candidate and that I'm entitled for expecting to work from wherever I want. I just hang up on him in the middle of his rant. And back to the job searching right now. I can finish all of my current job's work in like 1 to 2 hours a day, so I'm not in any rush. It's finally the day of the rope for corporate boomers. That feel when I went into the office for the first time in like 6 months to get something signed by our notary. My desk is being used for storage. Only people there are basically upper management. Floor is fucking dead. Was asked if I ever planned on coming back in. I straight-faced said no. Oh okay, I just wanted to know so I can use your monitors for others. I used to be a Wagie. 7 years ago I worked at night stocking shelves in a store. I still sometimes have nightmares that I am back waging. Just now in another thread they were talking about pallet prices increasing. Someone mentioned plastic pallets. It all flashed before my eyes. I used to prefer dealing with the plastic ones. They stack neatly, don't randomly have pieces break off, and don't give splinters. It's been 7 years since I worked a job, thanks to my first crypto gains in 2014. Yet I am still haunted by my waging experiences and fear I will have to go back. It's good motivation to work on my own business, but still, the emotional trauma I experienced is long-lasting. I can't believe there are still Wagies out there working today. What a horror. Half of my team got let go today for failed drug tests. Until they piss clean they can't come back. We are now 6 people short. I have to work this weekend now to somehow get in front, and the thought of waking up 5:30 to slave away to make someone richer literally sickens me. Every day the rope siren song gets louder, bros. First job I got at 16 was in one of those cafes they put in big-ass department stores. Constantly burning hands on all the hot shit. Scrubbing nasty kitchen equipment covered in fat and grease. Refused to do the tills, so always in the washroom. Can feel the steam and grease in the air sticking to my skin. Nasty ass customers not cleaning up after their demon spawn. Cunty manager telling me to smile more whilst in my own personal hell. There was a cute girl I'd flirt with a lot there, but the whole thing was fucking awful. They closed down recently. Was very cathartic to see that place shut. I worked Wagie jobs for one summer in my life. I worked at a grocery store. They were short-staffed, so just walked in, asked for a job, and they put me to work 60 hours a week. About 6 weeks in I had a trip planned for a week and I asked for time off, obviously unpaid, and they wouldn't give it to me. So I just quit, and they didn't want me to come back, even though they were short-staffed. It was so weird, like I offended them, and was shit-listed, even though they still didn't have enough staff. First job as a groundskeeper. Minimum wage. Carrying around 40 pounds of equipment all day in the summer sun. Dumbass supervisors constantly yelling at us for every mistake, no matter how minor. They wonder aloud why they can't fill every position. Working in a nightclub was probably one of the worst I've had. Work until 3 a.m., then spend another 2 hours cleaning the place. Those weird machines they use to clean glasses are hot AF and turns the room into a sauna. Drunk angry retards you can barely hear over the music. Expected to remember how to make 40 cocktails. If you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean. Supervisors acting like they're the shit when they work in a bar at 27. Clique Y staff probably all had STDs. Ears ringing from loud music, wake up at 3 p.m. At least you can bang customers, I guess. I had a summer job in an office once. Full-time, decent pay, and my only task was to write a report for some higher-ups. I finished 99% of the work in the first 2 weeks and spent the rest of my time there looking at my phone, drinking the piss-quality free coffee, and occasionally looking busy. Definitely the easiest job I ever had. But holy fuck I hated having to be there. Just incredibly boring. I'll take manual labor instead. You may be tired and sweaty at the end of the day, but at least you're doing something tangible and meaningful. Reoccurring nightmare about being at work under extreme duress. Feeling like I'm going to shit my pants from the pressure, stress, and all-encompassing panic. Awake in cold sweat at 4 a.m. Realize that my Wagie has consumed my whole life. I have as good a job as anyone could hope for. Literally never met any of my coworkers in person. They mailed all my shit, printer, laptop, displays, docking station, smartphone, etc. Work on technical documentation for medical devices. Just have a 2-minute call at the start of each week in case I have any questions about the shit to be done that week. My manager is in another fucking country and another time zone. She is laid back and cool and never stresses me out and doesn't give a fuck because I always complete my tasks on time. Decent good salary for my salary. They just fuck off and I do my job and they give me bonuses for working independently and learning fast everything I need to do my job. Nobody fucking checks on my day, or if I fuck off for a few hours to relax, I just have to do my shit for the week, so I control all my time and work when I actually feel productive. Unfortunately, next year I will probably be called for a team building exercise in person, unless a new pandemic comes, whereas now I exclusively work in the nude. It will be hard to put on pants again and maintain eye contact with other humans. COVID was the best thing to ever happen to me. I've been on the opposite end, in a shitty 40-person company, where you had mandatory and cringy happy birthday singing gatherings, office gossip and general incompetence, where you had to train retards to use a basic fucking user interface because they are too stupid to read the instructions on their own. At least I got to fuck 2 of the coworkers there before fucking off. All in all, I am more depressed than ever, and I'm currently on meds to prevent suicide, so I can't wait to lose this great job and go back to being a cagie in an office space. I don't have that much luck to land another completely remote job. Alright, I have posted this before. Get stocking job at supermarket. Star has a history of having guys quit after 1 month. Manager knows that I can't come on Saturdays. Changes my shift and tells me nothing. Suddenly we have a new working there. Cunt complains that I didn't come. Gets fired. This had to be some kind of tax evasion shit. The store got robbed at gunpoint a few months later, which made me laugh when I heard about it. Be me data analyst. Build a machine learning program that has potential to make company tens of millions per year. Quit for higher pay. Get hired back for even more to complete program. It works. Tell them I'm working remote permanently. Okay, Anon. Comfy AF. January this year. Physically demanding job assembling 4-ton transformers. £9. 41 an hour. Boss is cunt. Guys who work in transformer department all hate him. Boss is on my arse every day over pointless shit. 3rd day. Boss walks up angry. Says I'm not wearing a company approved face mask. Hess angry as fuck. Call him a fat cunt and tell him to shove job up his arse. Shake hands with the guy who was training me. Walk out. It was a blessing in disguise. I have a better job now as a solderer, $20K a year. I get along with everybody there, and although they're normies, they make really great conversation. Hopefully I can leave soon from crypto gains. It would be a shame to leave, though, because I've made some good friends. I worked at Sears about 10 years ago, at the peak of them being god-awful at everything, right before they went under. My manager wanted me to work a double into a split, so I would work like 9 a.m. 9 p.m. then be back at 2 a.m. Drive home, eat, shower, sleep, be back in about 5 hours after having worked 16. Point to the boring story. I just said no, that's not worth it to me, and it blew her mind, like nobody ever considered just politely saying no. She was completely flabbergasted. I later quit without warning, no call no show later on, and she called me 2 years later begging me to come work for her at a different location. Fuck Sears, you get what you fucking deserve. First job at 14. Fast food restaurant. Literally destroyed me, but didn't have confidence to get a new job. Start working the fryers. Burn finger on the hot food. Oh, did you burn yourself? Don't worry, eventually I lost all the nerve endings in my fingers from burning them so much, you'll get used to it. It has been 4 years, but I still think about it. I used to be a Wagie. 7 years ago I worked at night stocking shelves in a store. I still sometimes have nightmares that I am back waging. Just now in another thread they were talking about pallet prices increasing. Someone mentioned plastic pallets. It all flashed before my eyes. I used to prefer dealing with the plastic ones. They stack neatly, don't randomly have pieces break off, and don't give splinters. It's been 7 years since I worked a job, thanks to my first crypto gains in 2014. Yet I am still haunted by my waging experiences and fear I will have to go back. It's good motivation to work on my own business, but still, the emotional trauma I experienced is long-lasting. I can't believe there are still Wagies out there working today. What a horror. Dem feels bro, I used to wage various meaningless jobs. The point when you start dreaming about the monotonous part of the job always gets me too. Stacking pallets, driving forklifts, stacking boxes, cutting things, etc. I enjoyed some of the work, but not enough to walk away and say that was a good job. I haven't exactly made it, but I think I will soon. Then I'll go into stable investments with average returns to secure my existence without waging. My half of my team got let go today for failed drug tests. Until they piss clean they can't come back. We are now 6 people short. I have to work this weekend now to somehow get in front, and the thought of waking up 5.30 to slave away to make someone richer literally sickens me. Every day the rope siren song gets louder, bros. First job I got at 16 was in one of those cafes they put in big-ass department stores. Constantly burning hands on all the hot shit. Scrubbing nasty kitchen equipment covered in fat and grease. Refused to do the tills, so always in the washroom. Can feel the steam and grease in the air sticking to my skin. Nasty ass customers not cleaning up after their demon spawn. Cunty manager telling me to smile more whilst in my own personal hell. There was a cute girl I'd flirt with a lot there, but the whole thing was fucking awful. They closed down recently, was very cathartic to see that place shut. I worked Wagie jobs for one summer in my life. I worked at a grocery store. They were short-staffed, so just walked in, asked for a job, and they put me to work 60 hours week. About 6 weeks in I had a trip planned for a week and I asked for time off, obviously unpaid, and they wouldn't give it to me. So I just quit, and they didn't want me to come back, even though they were short-staffed. It was so weird, like I offended them, and was shit-listed, even though they still didn't have enough staff. Is there any way to really escape the cage, bros? Every day I spend doing this shit drives me closer to sucking on a shotgun. Recent job interview. This isn't a normal job, we want someone who can put their heart and soul into it. Long days and weekends on call, you know, pretend to be a go-getter. Great, sounds like me. What's the pay? Oh, about 18 United States dollars an hour. Why are boomers like this, bros? I just can't anymore. First job is a groundskeeper. Minimum wage. Carrying around 40 pounds of equipment all day in the summer sun. Dumb supervisors constantly yelling at us for every mistake, no matter how minor. They wonder aloud why they can't fill every position. I had to work 12 fucking hours yesterday. I'm on salary, no OT, to do a job I wasn't hired to do and don't know how to do, so my boss has to micromanage everything I do, since I don't know what I'm doing. Some chick took maternity leave, she stuck it with me, because I'm a sucker. Sucking on some steel seems nice right now. The only thing keeping me going is I have a prego fiance, but if it wasn't for her, I would quit and move back home for a better job. I'm in my late 30s. The only nice thing is I work from home, so my job can't hear me scream in my couch pillows and call everyone stupid fucks. Working in a nightclub was probably one of the worst I've had. Work until 3 a.m., then spend another 2 hours cleaning the place. Those weird machines they use to clean glasses are hot AF and turns the room into a sauna. Drunk angry retards you can barely hear over the music. Expected to remember how to make 40 cocktails. If you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean. Supervisors acting like they're the shit. When they work in a bar at 27. Clique Y staff probably all had STDs. Ears ringing from loud music, wake up at 3 p.m. At least you can bang customers, I guess. I had a summer job in an office once. Full-time, decent pay, and my only task was to write a report for some higher-ups. I finished 99% of the work in the first 2 weeks and spent the rest of my time there looking at my phone, drinking the piss-quality free coffee, and occasionally looking busy. Definitely the easiest job I ever had, but holy fuck I hated having to be there. Just incredibly boring. I'll take manual labor instead. You may be tired and sweaty at the end of the day, but at least you're doing something tangible and meaningful. Alright, I have posted this before. Get stocking job at supermarket. Star has a history of having guys quit after 1 month. Manager knows that I can't come on Saturdays. Changes my shift and tells me nothing. Suddenly we have a new working there. Cunt complains that I didn't come. Gets fired. This had to be some kind of tax evasion shit. The store got robbed at gunpoint a few months later, which made me laugh when I heard about it. Oh, I got fired from that shithole in Jan 2016. My manager had me working 3 straight 12 hours third shift shifts on the weekend. Every single copier and printer in the store except for one broke down. This was a recurring problem. And finally that last printer, one of the rent-a-PC laser printers, got a paper jam at 5 a.m. on a fucking Monday. The Monday morning shift was beginning to trickle in, only one coworker so far, and while I was trying to fix the printer, I had one customer bitching in one ear and another 2 waiting to bitch while I am bent over behind this piece of shit Xerox, desperately trying to open every compartment to get the jam relieved. Then I just snapped and pushed the fucking thing onto the floor, plastic pieces flying across the store, and walked out. 110% pent-up white boy Wagie rage. Got called back by my manager later that day after she had viewed the footage and asked if it was an accident. I told her sure, if that makes it easier to continue to make excuses for corporate's lack of resources. I was given unpaid leave for the rest of the week and then called in on Friday with some loss prevention Guido fucknut grilling me. They wanted me to admit I broke it and pay for it and threatened me with charges otherwise. I told them I was extremely fatigued, harassed by angry customers, and in lieu of FedEx providing its services or maintaining its equipment, I had to act as makeshifted and simply made an error. He continued to accuse me of purposely do it. I continued to stick to my story and blame FedEx, and then it was over. I never got a bill for it or my final check reduced. Fortunately, I had been stacking BTC in the $200s, while all my coworkers laughed at me for wasting money on magical internet tokens. I also make 4x as much WFH now in it and send other Wagies out to fix my clients' printers. January this year. Physically demanding job assembling 4-ton transformers. £9.41 an hour. Boss is cunt, guys who work in transformer department all hate him. Boss is on my arse every day over pointless shit. 3rd day. Boss walks up angry. Says him not wearing a company approved face mask. Hess angry as fuck. Call him a fat cunt and tell him to shove job up his arse. Shake hands with the guy who was training me. Walk out. It was a blessing in disguise. I have a better job now as a solderer, $20K a year. I get along with everybody there, and although they're normies they make really great conversation. Hopefully I can leave soon from crypto gains. It would be a shame to leave, though, because I've made some good friends. I had a shift work job where I could basically fuck off and do whatever I wanted, and my coworkers would cover for me. My morning routine was rolling a joint, smoking it with a nice espresso, play some chess, sleep for an hour or 2. I would go to the gym every night, play 10 hours of video on a 12-hour shift, go to the bar and get drunk and watch a UFC fight, go home and do some cleaning, sleep through an entire shift on an inflatable mattress. I got stoned before my performance reviews, where I argued my pay was too low. It was a soulless corporate highway job and I had to do a lot of driving when there was rarely actual work to do, and it was sort of dangerous work. I did this for 6 years, and they finally fired me and gave me 6 months severance. I don't know what to do with myself because I will never have it this good again, and I got rug-pulled a month before the bull run, so I wasn't able to make as much. Security guard. Literally get paid just to be here and be on my phone. Get paid $1 or $2 more than the actual workers that are doing fast-paced work. Name me one job weirder than this. Casino lounge musician is weird. Work 9 p.m. 2 a.m., $200 $300 a night. Main job is to entertain tweakers, boomers, and general scum. Different city every weekend, free hotel room, But zero groupies glamour. Almost always drunk while working. No boss. Be web dev. Sit all day in comfy chair. Drink good coffee and listen to lofi. Google stuff up all day. Google design patterns. Google open source templates. Reskin tweak existing projects to pass them as my own. Get promoted and now manage 2 poor fucks in apprenticeship. It's the best job ever. They pay you to scam them. You literally never have to think, just Google stuff and you are good, because no matter what they need you to do, one fucker on the internet already did it and provide it for free. I've been in this field for 4 years. Sales rep for large medical company start off on 79k Australian dollars driving around visiting hospitals and speaking with GPS. Complete 1 to 2 visits a day and spend the rest of the day on the road. Make up an Excel spreadsheet with bullshit contacts and iterations for surrounding hospitals. Hardly visit any. 2 years passes, get away with working less than 5 hours a week. COVID hits, paid to stay at home and make routine sales calls. Smoke corpulent blunts daily and gamble on coom rocket shitcoins. Easiest job of my life. Got into the field by promoting my bachelor's as a major in biochemistry. It's actually psychology. Keck. Government jobs. Wake up. Go to job. Drink some coffee. Talk about retarded shit with coworkers. Pretend to do some work. Nobody does anything, so nobody looks bad compared to everyone else. Drink some more coffee. Home by 3. Never getting fired. Be traveling industrial electrician with a large service area. Get trouble call. Drive 4 hours to job. Address the issue in 2 or 3 hours. Do paperwork the rest of the day then drive 4 hours back home. Get paid for 11 to 12 hours of work. Pretty comfy. AGR, Active Guard Reserve, in the US Army feels like welfare with dignity. Most days I get paid to duck around on my phone. Free healthcare. Tuition assistance. Everyone thinks you're a hero because you're in uniform. Someone always pays for your meal at IHOP. The most work I'll do is build slide decks. Dog kennel. Clean and feed dogs in the morning. Takes average of 2 hours. Sit on my ass for 6 hours straight. With the exception of checking dogs every hour to make sure they aren't dead or dying. Last 2 hours of shift feed and medicate dogs. Close business down. 60% of my day was watching Netflix and YouTube. When I became a manager it jumped to 80% of my day. I made 40k a year to play with dogs and watch YouTube. Job was only stressful when a dog got sick, which was rare. COVID fucked the industry, though so joke's on me. Psych nurse at forensic hospital. Prepare and pass meds twice a shift. Patients are schizos who happen to be murderers, rapists, pedos, total of 1 to 2 hours of work per shift. Spend most of time shitposting and watching YouTube. Overall boring as fuck most of the time, but it pays well, 90k per year. I get to hear weird shit every day and witness the occasional fight that security has to break up. I just have to pop in with the needle. 10x easier than other nursing jobs. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe.